Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Diamond and I lost over 65 pounds with the information that I'm sharing with you, and I'm here to help you lose weight and reclaim your health. So in today's video, I want to discuss some of the really bad diet advice that I received growing up, things that I heard, things that I saw on the internet that have actually kept me fat for a very long time. There are so many things out there in the diet space that just aren't true, and that actually led to me continuing to have a sugar addiction and led to me continuing to have issues with my weight, with insulin resistance, with diabetes, pre-diabetes, all that. And these pieces of diet advice literally kept me in that position for such a long time. And that is part of the reason why I created this channel, why I like to raise awareness about these type of things, why I created my course, Sugar Rehab, to teach people how to truly eat for their health and for weight loss and to reverse pre-diabetes and all that. So the first thing that I want to talk about in this video, the first really bad weight loss advice that I received from the diet culture or the diet space, whatever you want to call it, is that weight loss is all about calories in, calories out. This is my pet peeve in the weight loss space. People's obsession with calories. Calories, counting calories, restricting calories, calorie deficit, that is not the solution, because calorie deficits do not get to the root of the problem as to why you are fat, why you have insulin resistance. You don't have insulin resistance because of calories. You're not fat because of calories. You're fat because of the sugar. You're fat because of the starches. You're fat because of what you're choosing to put in your body. You're not fat because of the number of calories in the food. You're fat because of the kind of food you're consuming. And this is what I wish I could tell myself, however many years ago, before I even started my journey, was stop counting calories. There's so many people out there that are counting calories, and you might see some results. Even if you do count your calories for a little bit and lose some weight, eventually people are going to gain that weight back because you haven't changed your lifestyle. You haven't really focused on your nutrition and your health. You're just so concerned with fitting your junk food into a calorie deficit that you're not going to see the results. You're not going to see long-term results on a calorie deficit. No, you're not, especially if you're consuming a bunch of junk food and you're not actually learning how to switch your body, your metabolism, and your appetite to that of a naturally thin person. If you haven't figured out how to use your body fat for fuel and you're just concerned with calories in, calories out, you're not going to see the results that you're looking for because you're not healing your metabolism, okay? You want to get to the root of the issue as to why you're so hungry to the point that you are overeating. You don't want to just force yourself to eat less calories. You want to heal your metabolism so you're not as hungry, so that you don't overeat in the first place. And you don't need to count your calories to do that. Okay? And if you want help with doing that, with healing your metabolism, getting rid of the insatiable hunger and cravings that are causing you to overeat in the first place, definitely check out my course. It is called Sugar Rehab. I'm going to have it linked down below in the description, and it will teach you exactly how I was able to do that, how I was able to heal my appetite so that I wasn't so hungry, so that I don't need to eat less calories and force myself to eat less. I can eat to my heart's content. I can eat until I'm full and satiated without having to starve myself, without having to intentionally eat less and eat less calories every time. Because how many times have you gone on a calorie deficit and end up still overeating on that deficit? Probably countless times. Because when you are on an intentional calorie deficit without actually focusing on the nutrition aspect, you're always going to be hungry because you're eating food that lacks nutritional value. You're trying to fit your junk food into the calorie deficit. You're not healing from your sugar addiction. You're just trying to force yourself to eat less. That is not the solution, because you're always going to remain hungry. You're always going to still be hungry. If you just force yourself to eat less, you're just going to be hungry. And then what? You're just going to end up breaking the diet and you're going to end up eating a calorie surplus anyway. So what's the point of doing a calorie deficit if it's not going to last forever? You'd be so much better off actually creating a lifestyle where you can eat healthy and also eat delicious meals. In my course, I also teach you guys how to have delicious keto-friendly desserts and snacks and foods while not compromising your health. Because on keto, you can have both. You can have your health and you can have your sweets and your delicious food. You don't have to choose between either or. And so that's what I love so much about eating a healthy keto diet, is that you don't have to choose between foods that you love and the foods that are good for your body and nourishing for your body. You can have both. There are so many sugar alternatives. There are so many flour alternatives that there's really no limit to what you can have. And so that's the first thing that I wanted to touch on in this video, was the calorie thing. I hate the calories. I hate the focus on calories. I lost 65 pounds and I did not count a single calorie because I was able to eat to my heart's content while eating real food. If you stick to eating real food, you don't need to count calories because your body will naturally know when it's time to stop eating. The only reason why you struggle to stop eating is because you're eating things that your body doesn't even register as real food, that have no nutritional value. And so now your body doesn't even know when to stop because it's still waiting for the nutrients. It's like your body's eating, but there's no nutrients coming in. So it's like it can continue eating. Like think about, the last time you had like a bag of chips or some cookies. You could probably binge eat on those very easily because there's no nutrition there. But if you're focusing on eating your healthy fats, your proteins, limiting the carbs, limiting the sugars, eating your fiber, you're going to get too full that you can't binge on those things. They can't cause binging because they're real food. Your body knows it's real food. Your body gets full off of those foods. So don't focus on calories, focus on eating food that is filling so you don't have to count your calories. So that is number one thing. That is the number one thing that I wanted to talk about in this video. Number two diet advice that I heard that actually kept me fat for a long time, or for basically my entire life, was moderation is the solution. Eat everything in moderation. Eat junk food in moderation, right? Make sure you look at the serving sizes and only have that. And the reason why I say that this is a terrible piece of advice is because if moderation was the solution, nobody would be fat. I say this all the time. If moderation was a solution to weight loss, nobody would be fat, because we all know to eat in moderation, but for some reason, a lot of people can't do it. And that's because these foods that I'm telling you to cut out, these sugars, these starches, they are not designed to be eaten in moderation. Our body's not supposed to be consuming it. And so, especially not at the level that we are consuming it today. I mean, majority of people's diets are starches and sugars. That is not normal. That is not normal. So moderation is not the solution. Like I said, if that was a solution, nobody would be fat. These foods are addictive, and so we have to treat them like they're addictive substances. So I don't believe in moderation. I believe in completely healing yourself and healing your lifestyle and changing your diet for the better. Especially, there's no need for moderation when you can have sweets that you enjoy that are also healthy for you. If you can make healthy keto sweets at home, healthy keto snacks at home, what's the point of consuming these sugars and these starches if all they're doing is harming you? And you can make something that tastes just as good without all of that unnecessary junk in your body. So I don't believe in moderation. I believe that we can create a lifestyle and an eating lifestyle where you can eat the things that you love, but you just make them a healthier version. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video, the last piece of diet advice that actually kept me fat for years, was the belief that if you don't let yourself have sugar, if you don't let yourself have junk food, it's gonna cause you to binge on it. It's gonna cause you to overeat and overindulge in those things if you don't let yourself have it. And what I have to say to that is, the restriction of junk food or sugar or unhealthy starches or processed food, the restriction is not the cause of binging. The consumption of it is the cause of binging. And this is what I want to leave you with in regards to this topic. If restriction leads to binging, then the restriction of anything should lead to binging. So if the restriction of junk food leads to you binging junk food, then the restriction of any food should lead you to binge on that food. Restricting meat should lead you to binge on meat. Restricting healthy fiber should lead you to binge on that. Restricting healthy fat should lead you to binge on that. Restricting dairy should lead you to binge on dairy. But it's not happening. I don't see anyone binging on dairy when they cut dairy out of their diet. I don't see anyone binging on meat when they go vegetarian. I don't see anyone binging on any other substance other than sugar. That tells me that the sugar is the problem, not the restriction of it. Because if restriction was the problem, then restricting anything would lead to binging, and that's not the case. And so that's what I really wanted to highlight here, is that it's not the restriction of the sugar that led you to binge on it. It was actually the fact that you ate it and you ended up on a sugar roller coaster. For those of you that have my sugar rehab course, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say sugar roller coaster. You ended up on a sugar roller coaster that led to you binging. So just keep in mind, these foods are addictive substances. And just like any other addictive substance, in order to heal from your addiction to that substance, you have to completely get off of it. So telling yourself that if you don't let yourself have junk food, or if you don't let yourself have these things, it's going to lead to a binge is absurd to me. You know, what did humans do? What were humans doing before we had access to all this sugar and all these junk foods? Right? Like, it's not normal that we have access to so much sugar on a daily basis. So acting like it's like absurd to live a sugar-free lifestyle, that is completely too restrictive or whatever the case may be, it's just not true. It's just not true. It's not going to lead you to binge. As a matter of fact, people struggle with binging more when they consume these things and keep them in their diet, not when they completely cut it out. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I just wanted to leave you all with that. I really hope that you guys found this video informative and helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video.